Chapter 167. Humph. At this moment, the girl seemed to be in a better mood. She looked at Lu Ming proudly and snorted. Then, the girl rolled her eyes and suddenly said, "Boy, your combat strength is not bad. Why don't we work together and break into the core area of this cave dwelling? What do you think?" "The core area? Isn't this the core area?" Lu Ming said in surprise. "Nonsense, of course not. This is the cave dwelling left behind by a martial king realm expert, the ancestor of the Dongi tribe. How can it be filled with just a few secret manuals?" The girl laughed disdainfully. "He's actually a peerless martial king expert." Lu Ming gasped in his heart. At the same time, his eyes were burning with passion. A martial king realm expert was also known as a king realm expert. They were unbelievably powerful. Even the Burning Sun Empire might not have a martial king realm expert. A king realm expert had the power to destroy heaven and earth and overturn rivers and seas. They were unimaginably powerful. This was the cave dwelling of a martial king realm expert. What kind of treasures would there be? "What do you think? Let's work together?" the girl said with a smile. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. He was a little confused. This girl must be itching to bite him. Why would she be so kind as to invite him to work together? Who cares? I'll agree first. This is the king realm relic. Lu Ming made up his mind and said, "Okay, I agree to work with you." "Okay, let's go." The girl smiled. Her beauty could topple a city. Lu Ming could not help but stare blankly. He thought to himself, this young lady is really good-looking. She is in no way inferior to Mulan and Qiuyu. She might even be better. It's a pity that she is too evil. The girl touched one of the walls of the stone room. Soon, the wall of the stone room made a creaking sound and a stone door appeared. Lu Ming was very surprised. He could not help but ask, "Who exactly are you? Why are you so familiar with this place?" "Of course I know everything. Otherwise, why would I come to this place so easily? As for who I am, why should I tell you?" The young girl rolled her eyes at Lu Ming, snorted coldly, and walked through the stone door first. Lu Ming followed him in. After the stone door, there was a passageway that twisted and turned. After exiting the passageway, there was another stone room. However, there was nothing left in this stone room. Lu Ming followed the young lady and passed through 3 stone rooms. Finally, they ran into trouble. In the 4th stone room, they encountered a demonic corpse devil puppet. There were a total of 6 of them, but these 6 demonic corpse puppets were incomparably powerful. Each of them had the battle strength of a 5th-level martial master. With the 6 of them working together, the 2 of them fell into a tough battle. However, the eyes of the demonic corpses and devil puppets were their weak points. The 2 of them took advantage of them and attacked them one by one. It took them more than 10 minutes to kill all 6 demonic corpse puppets. Then, Lu Ming looked at a stone door at the side of the stone room. This stone door was taller and wider than the previous ones. It was more than 2 meters long and wide. After opening the stone door, a dark passageway was revealed. If I remember correctly, we will reach the core area after passing through this passageway. However, this passageway must have inscriptions. The young girl said. Lu Ming nodded. Immediately, the 2 of them walked in. The deeper they went, the wider the cave became. At the end, it became a huge passageway that was 7 to 8 meters tall and more than 10 meters wide. Surprisingly, there was no movement at all in the first 1,000 meters. However, after walking for about 1,000 meters, inscriptions suddenly shone around the cave and on the ground. Endless inscriptions shone. Then, a scorching aura was emitted. In the next moment, the entire passageway turned red, as if they were in a fire domain. Whoosh whoosh, a large amount of red flames appeared and filled the passageway. These were real flames and not illusory. They were condensed by inscriptions. Whoosh! Suddenly, a tall figure walked out of the flames. Its body was condensed by flames. It held a huge flaming sword in its hand and slashed at Lu Ming. Flame spirit condensed by inscriptions? Lu Ming was shocked. He did not dare to underestimate it. The fiery tongue spear appeared and stabbed out. Boom! The powerful spear gleam directly pierced through the flame spirit. However, after the flame spirit dissipated, It condensed again in an instant and charged toward Lu Ming. At the same time, several other flame spirits were condensed. They were holding flame sabers, flame spears, and so on. They all charged at Lu Ming. On the other side, the beautiful young girl was in the same situation. She was besieged by flame spirits. Boom, boom. Rumbling sounds rang out continuously as the two of them engaged in a fierce battle with these flame spirits. However, these flame spirits were very powerful and could not be destroyed. After being scattered, they would condense again. They were very difficult to deal with. Let's join forces and keep moving forward. As long as we pass through here, we will reach the core area. The young girl shouted. Lu Ming nodded and leaned against the young girl. The two of them attacked together and rushed forward. However, there were more and more flame spirits in front of them. Moreover, the temperature of the flames was getting higher and higher. The two of them felt like they were in a furnace. Flames are my battlefield, Lu Ming whispered. The force of fire erupted and formed a strange domain around him. When he walked past, the flames automatically retreated. Whoosh! The astral fire spear was waved. The flames were driven and followed the spear, forming a fire dragon that blasted at the flame spirits. Bang! Bang! One by one, the flame spirits were blasted away. The flames here are really strange. They are completely different from the flames of volcanoes. The flames of volcanoes are about eruption and destroying everything. However, the flames here have spirituality and can form flame spirits. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He seemed to have understood something. His eyes were bright. As he fought, he sensed the surroundings. Flames are not only about eruption and destruction. They also have spirituality and vitality. Flames are the origin of human civilization. Lu Ming's mind was constantly thinking. Unknowingly, the force of fire on his body became more condensed. My force of fire is about to reach minor accomplishment. Lu Ming was overjoyed. He didn't expect that a moment of enlightenment would make his force of fire improve so much. Originally, his force of fire was just at the entry level. Now, he finally took a big step forward and was close to minor accomplishment. The improvement of the force of fire made Lu Ming's attack stronger. With a sweep of his spear, a large number of flame spirits were swept away. On the side, the beautiful girl was secretly shocked. Lu Ming's comprehension surprised her. It was just an inscription formation. Lu Ming had comprehended it in such a short time. Boom, boom. The two of them joined forces and moved forward. However, there were too many flame spirits. The two of them fought with great difficulty. Half an hour. The two of them continuously charged forward for half an hour and rushed through a distance of thousands of meters. With their combat strength, there were still many scars on their bodies. It could be said to be a tough battle. We're almost there. The beautiful girl suddenly cried out in surprise. Lu Ming's spirit was also lifted. Chapter 168. They could vaguely see what was going on in the cave. Go. The two of them exerted all their strength and blasted away some of the fire spirits in front of them. Whoosh, whoosh. After a few sprints, they crossed the last few dozen meters and rushed into the cave. After the two of them rushed into the cave, the spirit of the flame and the spreading flames behind them slowly disappeared. Phew! The two of them let out a long sigh of relief, then began to observe their surroundings. It was a huge underground cave. It was more than 100 meters high and more than 100 meters wide. After a casual glance, the two of them stared at the center of the underground cave. There was a human skeleton sitting cross-legged on the ground. The bones were crystal clear like jade. Behind the skeleton, there was an altar made of stone. There were patterns carved on it, and it was full of ancient charm. However, Lu Ming and the beautiful young lady merely took a casual glance and skipped over it. Their eyes were fixed on the two arms of the skeleton in a daze. The right hand of the skeleton was holding a green jade sword. The jade sword was very small, not much bigger than a finger. On the left hand of the skeleton, there was a ring, a storage ring. Lu Ming could tell at a glance that it was a storage ring. The skeleton was definitely a powerhouse when he was alive. The value of his storage ring must be very high. Lu Ming's eyes were burning. Whoosh, whoosh. Suddenly, Lu Ming and the beautiful girl moved at the same time. The two of them turned into two light shadows and rushed toward the skeleton. In an instant, the two of them rushed to the front of the skeleton. Lu Ming grabbed the storage ring on the finger of the skeleton, while the beautiful girl grabbed the jade sword in the right hand of the skeleton. He gathered his true chi and formed a claw. With a swipe, he plucked the storage ring from the skeleton's hand. Got it! Lu Ming was ecstatic. At this time, the beautiful girl also grabbed the jade sword in her hand. The joy on her face was uncontrollable. Then, the beautiful girl moved her hand and put away the jade sword. She looked at Lu Ming and said, "Hey kid, hand over the storage ring. We'll each take half of the things inside." Half each? What kind of joke is this? You take that jade sword, and I take the storage ring. It just so happens that we each have one. On what basis do you want to share my storage ring? Lu Ming sneered. Naturally, he would not give it up. Your appetite is too big. This is a storage ring left behind by a king. Its value is shocking. I only took a jade sword. It's not fair. I don't care. I want to split the items in the storage ring equally. The peerless beauty glared at him and said rudely. Lu Ming was speechless. He rolled his eyes and said, "How about this? How about we trade? I'll use my storage ring to exchange for your jade sword so that you won't say that I'm taking advantage of you. Why should I switch with you? I'm not exchanging." The beautiful girl didn't even think about it and directly refused. Lu Ming was so angry that he laughed. He could see that the value of the jade sword was above that of the storage ring. This girl had gotten a bargain, but she was still thinking about the storage ring. Then we'll take one each. Lu Ming was too lazy to pay attention to her and directly put away the storage ring. What was there to say to this unreasonable girl? Humph, if you don't give it to me, then I'll take it myself. The beautiful girl rolled her eyes and suddenly rushed towards Lu Ming. Hey, you swore before that you wouldn't fight with me. You're breaking your oath now. Lu Ming quickly retreated with the long spear in his hand and shouted, Humph, I said before that I wouldn't fight when I took those secret manuals. I didn't say that I wouldn't fight here. The girl snorted and quibbled. Boom. The girl waved her hand and used the great demonic palm print. 3 pitch-black giant palm prints attacked Lu Ming. Lu Ming waved his long spear to block. Although Lu Ming's firepower had increased a little, he was still not the girl's opponent. He was pushed back by the powerful palm power. To that flame array, Lu Ming's figure flashed and rushed towards the previous passage. When Lu Ming rushed into the passage, the surroundings shone with bright inscriptions. Then flames and fire spirits appeared and rushed towards Lu Ming. When the beautiful girl rushed in, there were also many fire spirits rushing towards her. Get lost, the girl shouted and slapped a few times in a row. She defeated 5 or 6 fire spirits and rushed towards Lu Ming. Don't think that I'm afraid of you. Lu Ming was really angry. He roared and waved his long spear. The surrounding flames were driven by him. Following the momentum of the spear, they condensed into a flame dragon and rushed towards the girl. Boom! The flame dragon and the girl's great demonic palm print collided. The black true chi and the fiery red flames exploded and swept in all directions. Several flame spirits that were close to them were directly blown away. Lu Ming and the girl's figures flashed at the same time. They were evenly matched. In this flame array, Lu Ming's battle power was stronger, and the girl was suppressed, so Lu Ming could compete with her. Let's see how you take my storage ring. Now, I'm going to spank your butt. Lu Ming shouted and waved his long spear, wildly whipping towards the girl, especially towards her butt. You shameless! The girl's face turned red. Her pair of beautiful palms continuously slapped out vigorous palm power. Boom, boom. There were continuous booming sounds. Lu Ming and the young lady exchanged dozens of moves. However, Lu Ming became more and more courageous, while the girl's true chi was slowly running out. She had already consumed a lot of true chi when passing through this passage. Now that she was fighting with Lu Ming, her true chi consumption was naturally greater. Lu Ming benefited from the environment. In this flame array, his true chi consumption was not great. Bang! After exchanging another blow with Lu Ming, the girl retreated and left the passage. Humph, you win. I'm not going to fight with you. I'm exhausted. The young girl retreated a distance and sat on the ground. She was sweating profusely and gasping for breath. Lu Ming walked forward carefully and finally left the range of the array in the passage. As soon as Lu Ming left, the flames in the passage disappeared. Lu Ming did not go too far from the passage. He sat down cross-legged at the entrance of the passage. This way, if the girl attacked, he could escape into the passage immediately. Okay, I'm not going to fight with you. This time, you're lucky to have obtained such a great opportunity. The girl seemed to be very unwilling and gritted her teeth. Your harvest should be greater than mine, right? We're in the same boat. Lu Ming said with a smile. I spent a lot of effort to come in. You got a big advantage. So be it. I see that you're tired. Let's rest together. Don't sneak attack me. The girl said unhappily. I'm afraid that you'll sneak attack me. Lu Ming curled his lips. Then, the two of them circulated their true qi and adjusted their true qi. Of course, they paid attention to each other, afraid that the other party would suddenly attack. 3 hours later, the two of them stood up at the same time. You got a big advantage before, but let's see how you get it later. Chapter 169. Lu Ming was a little surprised. He didn't know why the girl was walking towards the altar. The girl walked to the side of the altar and circled around it, carefully sizing it up. Sometimes she carefully observed it, sometimes she frowned and pondered. After a while, she smiled. After half an hour, the girl started to inscribe inscriptions. The young lady's slender fingers began to move in the air. Jinqi infused into the young lady's fingertips, and as she waved them in the air, a miraculous pattern appeared. This was an inscription. The girl was inscribing inscriptions. Inscribing inscriptions in the air. What a brilliant technique. Lu Ming sighed. Although he didn't know much about inscription, he still had some basic knowledge. Generally speaking, inscribing inscriptions in the air wasn't something a martial grandmaster could do. Inscriptions appeared in the air and flew towards the altar. The ancient patterns on the stone altar seemed to have come alive as they emitted a faint halo. Open. A moment later, the girl let out a soft cry and waved her hands. Inscriptions entered the altar one after another. Then, the altar buzzed and emitted rays of light that were incomparably bright. Roar. Suddenly, a beast roar came from the altar. A fierce tiger rushed out from the altar and leaped into the air. The tiger was 3 meters tall and 6 meters long. It stood in the air and roared majestically. A powerful aura filled the air. Beast soul. What a complete beast soul. Lu Ming was taken aback at the sight of this. This tiger wasn't real, but it looked like it. This was definitely a beast soul left behind by a powerful demonic beast. Moreover, it was very complete. Heavenly demon soul concentration technique. Come in. The girl shouted, and her body emitted a black light. Her hands formed a mysterious seal. Then, a black light enveloped the tiger beast soul. The tiger beast soul roared again and again. In the cave, a strong pressure filled the air. It was like a mountain was pressing down on Lu Ming's heart. What a powerful beast soul. This beast soul was extremely powerful when it was alive. It was definitely a level 4 demonic beast. Moreover, it wasn't an ordinary one. Lu Ming was shocked. The tiger beast spirit roared, but it was useless. Not long after, it turned into a ray of light and was put away by the girl. Roar. When the tiger beast soul was put away, another roar came from the altar. Then, a giant black wolf appeared in the air. Just like the tiger beast soul, this giant wolf was also a beast soul. Judging from its aura, it was no weaker than the tiger beast soul from before. Hiss! As soon as the wolf beast soul appeared, another roar was heard. A giant snake more than 30 meters long appeared in the air. Another beast soul. There were actually so many powerful beast souls sealed within this stone altar. Ha ha ha, the real treasures are here. These are all half-step king level beast souls. They were refined by the ancestors of the Eastern barbarian tribe using a secret technique. They are incomparably complete. If you fuse them with your body, you will be able to explode with incomparable power. Unfortunately, you can't take them, only I can. The young girl glanced at Lu Ming and laughed heartily. She was extremely pleased with herself. Then, the girl formed another hand seal and began to collect the beast's souls. Not long after, the giant snake beast soul was put away by the girl. At this moment, a bird beast soul with flames all over its body appeared. It screeched and danced in the air. However, there seemed to be a force on the altar that restrained them, making it difficult for them to escape. At this moment, Lu Ming's expression changed. He felt that the demon-suppressing spear in the Temple of Paragon was vibrating with excitement. Could it be? Lu Ming's eyes lit up. With a thought, the demon-suppressing spear appeared in his hand. The moment the demon-suppressing spear appeared, it vibrated violently. With a swoosh, it flew out. The spear emitted a dazzling light that enveloped the two beast souls. Roar! Jie! With two roars, the two beast souls turned into two rays of light and were absorbed by the demon-suppressing spear. Then, the demon-suppressing spear flew back to Lu Ming's hand. Not far away, the beautiful girl was dumbfounded. She opened her cherry-like mouth and widened her big, watery eyes. She stared at the altar and then at Lu Ming. To be precise, she was staring at the demon-suppressing spear in Lu Ming's hands. After a while, she let out an earth-shattering scream. The demon-suppressing spear. How did you get the demon-suppressing spear? The girl shouted in disbelief. Wong. At this moment, the altar vibrated violently. It was 10 times more intense than before. Dong dong. A rumble could be heard coming from the altar, as if some peerless beast was about to step out from it. Boom. Following a violent tremor, a giant silver wolf charged out of the altar. The giant wolf's entire body was covered in silvery white fur. It shone with a sparkling luster as it stood in the air. It was 5 meters tall and over 10 meters long. Roar! When the giant silver wolf appeared, it howled at the sky. An unimaginably powerful pressure burst out. Poof! Lu Ming's face changed. He felt as if he had been hit by a giant mountain. He took a few steps back and spat out a mouthful of blood. The girl was not much better. She also took a few steps back, her face pale. Terrifying, too terrifying. What level is this beast spirit? It's just a beast spirit, yet it's emitting such a terrifying pressure. How strong was it when it was alive? Lu Ming looked at the silver wolf beast soul in the air and was shocked. Beast King. This is the soul of a beast king. Haha. The girl laughed and formed a hand seal. Rays of black light shrouded the silver wolf. Wong. At this moment, the demon-suppressing spear vibrated violently and shot a ray of light at the silver wolf. Roar. The silver wolf howled at the sky. However, it was just a beast soul. It did not have a physical body. Its aura was strong, but it did not have much battle strength. Kid, what are you doing? Put away your demon-suppressing spear. The girl screamed. Put it away? Why should I? Didn't you say that I can't take it away? Lu Ming mocked. You damn it. The girl was helpless. She could only form hand seals frantically and fight with the demon-suppressing spear for the beast soul. 2 rays of light shrouded the silver wolf soul and tore it apart. Whoosh! In the end, the silver wolf soul was divided into 2. One was taken by the girl and the other by the demon-suppressing spear. Whoosh! The demon-suppressing spear flew back to Lu Ming's hand. You stole half of my Beast King soul. Give it back to me. The young lady glared at Lu Ming fiercely. No. Lu Ming refused and put away the demon-suppressing spear. Beast King soul. This is a Beast King soul. With your current cultivation and physical strength, you can't use it at all. Just give it back to me. The girl stared at Lu Ming bitterly. Her big eyes were misty, as if she was about to cry. She looked pitiful. No. Lu Ming was unmoved and refused firmly. Chapter 170. Bam! Right at this moment, the stone altar suddenly exploded, turning into rubble that shot in all directions. The instant the altar exploded, the entire world began to shake violently. Outside the cave, the disciples of the mystic essence sword sect and the Dongi tribe faced each other, waiting for the people inside the cave to come out. Suddenly, The world shook and the earth rumbled. Rumble. In some places, huge cracks appeared on the ground. What's going on? I don't know. Something's wrong. The disciples of the mystic essence sword sect and the Dongi tribe exclaimed. Whoosh whoosh, wind and clouds gathered in the sky. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. It was a doomsday scene. Crack crack, bolts of lightning thicker than a person's thigh lit up the sky. Then, everyone saw a shocking scene. The space cracked open. It was so dark that it seemed to lead to the abyss of hell. Oh no, this realm is going to collapse. Let's go. Let's get out of this realm. Otherwise, we're all going to die. Let's go. Everyone let out a roar of shock as they hurriedly rushed towards the light gate from which they had come. Junior brother Lu Ming has gone in and hasn't come out. What should we do? Chun Quan shouted. If he doesn't come out in time, he's dead. Who cares about him? Let's go. Let's go. The leader of the White Tiger sect yelled. Everyone used all their strength and ran as fast as they could, wishing they could grow 2 more legs. While everyone was running, the tremors between heaven and earth became even more intense. The ground cracked and space collapsed. In the cave, Lu Ming's expression changed drastically. What's going on? Lu Ming asked. This altar is the core of this realm. Now that the altar has collapsed, this small realm is going to collapse too. The girl said calmly. What? Then let's go. Lu Ming's expression changed, and he was about to rush out. It's too late to leave now. This cave was built by a martial Emperor realm expert, and is covered with a large number of profound inscriptions. When the plane collapses, the inscription formation will automatically activate to protect it. No one from the outside can enter, and no one from the inside can leave. The girl said, We can't leave? Then won't we be trapped here until we die? Lu Ming's expression was somewhat ugly. The girl smiled and squinted her eyes. Yes, I will be trapped here for the rest of my life. Humph, now that I can't get out, it's useless for you to take the beast's soul. Give it back to me quickly. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat, and he fell into deep thought. After a while, Lu Ming's lips curled into a faint smile. From the looks of it, the young girl knew that the plane would collapse. Since she knew, she still dared to collect the beast's souls from the altar. Furthermore, she was so calm. She must have a way to get out. At the thought of this, Lu Ming felt relieved. He revealed a smile and gave a long sigh. Sigh. There's nothing I can do about it. If I'm really trapped here, then it's my fate. I can only accept it. As he spoke, Lu Ming's gaze swept over the girl's body. He sighed in admiration. Moreover, it's not bad to have such a beauty to accompany us. If we feel bored, we can have a bunch of children to accompany us. What do you think? Give birth to children? A bunch of them? The veins on the girl's forehead were already throbbing. You, despicable, shameless, in your dreams. Let me tell you, this plane won't collapse completely. Moreover, there's a teleportation formation under this altar. After 3 months, when the plane stabilizes, we can be teleported out. You want to have children with me? Bah, in your dreams. The girl pointed at Lu Ming with a trembling finger and shrieked. Oh, so we can get out? Lu Ming touched his nose and smiled. Humph. The girl realized that she had been tricked by Lu Ming. She immediately snorted and glared at Lu Ming. Alas, what a pity, what a pity. Actually, if we really can't get out, it's not a bad idea. Lu Ming sighed. Not a bad idea, my ass. The girl gnashed her teeth. If not for the fact that Lu Ming could make use of the flame array in the passageway to increase his combat power, she would have taken Lu Ming down and taught him the consequences of offending her. However, she was not confident now. She could only remind herself that she would have the chance to teach Lu Ming a lesson in the future. Rumble. Heaven and earth shook continuously, and it seemed to be getting more and more violent. Outside the cave, the disciples of the mystic essence sword sect and the Dongi tribe were running for their lives. An hour later, they finally returned to the light door that they had entered through. Without the slightest hesitation, everyone rushed into the light door. When they reappeared, they were already back on Mount Jiuyao. Back on Mount Jiuyao, they let out a long sigh of relief. We're finally safe. A burly Dongi tribe man laughed. The 2 patriarchs haven't come out yet. Another person said. Instantly, the Dongi tribe people fell silent and waited quietly. The disciples of the mystic essence sword sect did not leave either. They stood not far away, waiting to know the result. Half an hour later, with a loud bang, the door of light exploded. Patriarchs! Someone from the Dongi tribe cried out sorrowfully. The door of light exploded, and the plane collapsed. Under such circumstances, only martial kings could survive. Even a martial ancestor would die, not to mention a great martial mentor. Those who did not come out were doomed. The Dongi tribe people's atmosphere was solemn. Junior brother Lu Ming, Chun Quan sighed. The other disciples of the mystic essence sword sect also sighed. Lu Ming, a prodigy who had created miracles time and time again since he entered the mystic essence sword sect, had perished in this plane just like that. What a pity. However, the path of martial arts was like that. No matter how talented one was, they could die if they did not mature. On the continent, countless prodigies died every year. Haha, Lu Ming is dead. The disciples of the White Tiger Hall laughed in their hearts, especially the people of the Duanmu family. Let's go. In the end, the disciples of the mystic essence sword sect and the Dongi tribe did not continue fighting. Instead, they rushed toward Donkey City. The news of Lu Ming's death spread like wildfire. In the underground cave of the Dongi tribe's ruins, Lu Ming and the girl waited quietly for 1.5 hours. The tremors outside finally subsided. Hey, how about this? You name a price, and I'll buy those bee souls. What do you think? The girl looked at Lu Ming, still thinking about those bee souls. I'm not selling. Lu Ming refused without hesitation. Those beast souls had been refined with a secret technique. At the critical moment, they could be merged with one's body to unleash a powerful force. These were life-saving treasures. How could Lu Ming bear to sell them? Let me tell you, although these beast souls can increase your combat strength temporarily, you can't use them with your current cultivation and physical body. If you merge with them, you'll definitely explode and die. The girl said, You don't have to worry about that. Lu Ming was stubborn. The girl gritted her teeth. In the end, she snorted and turned to leave. Hey, we're going to be together for a long time. I can't keep calling you hey. I'm Lu Ming. What's your name? Lu Ming said. The girl stopped and turned around. Remember, I'm Xian Yanqing. This name will be your nightmare in the future. Chapter 171. Lu Ming smiled and walked to the other side of the cave. The underground cave was huge, and there were 5 or 6 entrances on the walls. There might be some treasures in these entrances that were worth exploring. The entrances were not big. After walking in, he found that it was a small cave. It should have been dug by someone. There was a stone bed, a stone table, and a few stone stools inside. There was nothing else. Lu Ming looked around and was a little disappointed. He walked out of the cave and walked to another one. There was still nothing to be found in this cave. It was completely empty. Shaking his head, Lu Ming walked out. He found Xian Yanqing walking out of another cave. Lu Ming, let me tell you, from today onwards, this half belongs to me and the other half belongs to you. You are not allowed to step into the caves that I am in. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Humph. Xian Yanqing waved his hand and drew a line in the middle. Fine, I won't go. Lu Ming curled his lips. He had learned about Xian Yanqing's strange temper. Seeing that Lu Ming had agreed, Xian Yanqing walked into another cave angrily. Let's look at the storage ring and the 2 secret manuals. At the thought of this, Lu Ming's heart burned with passion. He could not be bothered with Xian Yanqing. He turned and walked into a cave, sitting cross-legged on a stone bed. With a thought, he appeared in the Temple of Paragon. He moved his hand, and the storage ring appeared in his hand. This is a storage ring left behind by a martial king. What is in it? Lu Ming was looking forward to it. He wanted to enter the storage ring to check it out. However, in the next moment, Lu Ming was stunned. He could not enter the storage ring. It was blocked by a layer of inscriptions. There were powerful inscriptions on the storage ring that prevented others from prying into it. Lu Ming was dumbfounded. He wailed in his heart, Is this how it works? It wasn't easy to get a storage ring of a martial king, but I can't open it. Isn't this too much of a scam? I don't believe it. Lu Ming clenched his teeth. He held the storage ring in his hand and circulated his true qi. Strands of true qi rushed towards the inscription on the storage ring like a dragon. With a sizzling sound, the genuine qi dissipated, and the inscription remained motionless. So many years have passed, but the inscriptions are still so sturdy. Lu Ming was speechless, following which, he continued to inject his shanqi. Similarly, the true qi dissipated, and the inscriptions remained motionless. My cultivation is too weak. I can't open it at all. That's not right. The inscription is slightly weakened. Suddenly, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He sensed it carefully and found that the inscriptions on the storage ring were indeed slightly weakened. Although it was only a tiny bit, almost negligible, it showed that Lu Ming's true qi had some effect on the storage ring. As long as it was effective, as long as he persisted, he would be able to open it sooner or later. Continue. Lu Ming roused himself and continued to inject true qi into the storage ring. 3 hours later, Lu Ming was sweating profusely and gasping for breath. However, the inscriptions on the storage ring were only slightly weakened. It was probably only 1/10,000th of its original strength. Sigh, it seems like I can only slowly grind it down in the future. In the future, as my cultivation level increases, the speed of weakening this inscription will definitely be faster. This is a storage ring of a martial king expert. It is worth it to spend some effort. Lu Ming thought. Now, let's take a look at the 2 secret manuals. Lu Ming took out the 2 secret manuals and started to read them. When he opened them, Lu Ming was overjoyed. The first book was called Ancient Shield Technique. It was an Earth-rank low-grade defensive martial skill. It was an Earth-level martial skill and a rare defensive martial skill. Lu Ming couldn't help but be happy. One had to know that in the Mystic Essence Sword Sect, upper Earth-level martial skills were the best martial skills. Ordinary people were not qualified to learn them. Ancient Shield Technique was a lower Earth-level martial skill. After mastering it, one could condense an ancient shield to protect oneself. When one cultivated to the first level, they would be able to form an ancient shield. When one reached the second level, 2 ancient shields could be condensed, and so on. When one reached the 6th level, 6 ancient shields could be condensed. Moreover, the ancient shields could be controlled and stacked at will. Although it was similar to Duangang's defensive martial skill, its power and profoundness were much stronger. If I can successfully cultivate this martial skill, then how strong would my defense be? Lu Ming's heart was burning. This was an Earth-level martial skill. Its power was much stronger than a profound-level martial skill. As long as one reached the first level of a lower Earth-level martial skill, its power would be comparable to the 6th level of a superior profound-level martial skill. Its power was simply unimaginable. Lu Ming's lower profound-level martial skill, the Flaming Astral Spear Art, had not reached the 6th level, let alone the 6th level of a superior profound-level martial skill. After reading the Ancient Shield Technique, Lu Ming looked at another book. 3 Dao Palms, a lower Earth-level martial skill. Another lower Earth-level martial skill. Lu Ming's heart was beating wildly. Lu Ming looked carefully and was envious of the 3 Dao Palms' power. Which book should he cultivate? Although a lower Earth-level martial skill was powerful, the difficulty of cultivating it was equally terrifying. Now that there was no chanting, Lu Ming's speed of comprehending martial skills would definitely decrease. It was impossible to cultivate both books at the same time. He could only choose one to try. I'll cultivate the Ancient Shield Technique first. In terms of offense, I have the Flaming Astral Spear Art. Moreover, I haven't reached the highest level yet, so there's no rush. Lu Ming made up his mind to cultivate the Ancient Shield Technique first. After that, he put away the 3 Dao Palms and started to carefully study the Ancient Shield Technique. An Earth-level martial skill was extremely mysterious. Lu Ming spent a few hours, but still couldn't find the way. No rush, no rush. An Earth-level martial skill is definitely not that easy to cultivate. I'll just spend some time every day to slowly comprehend it. Lu Ming secretly warned himself. At this moment, Lu Ming's true qi had almost recovered. Immediately, Lu Ming stood up and walked to the 3rd platform. He placed 9 spirit crystals on the stone platform. Soon, a human figure condensed. Cultivation begins. Lu Ming muttered and rushed towards the human figure. Boom, boom, boom. The two human figures constantly bombarded each other. In the process of the battle, Lu Ming constantly looked for the shortcomings of his martial skill to make up for his weaknesses. This kind of battle progressed very quickly. When his true qi was exhausted, Lu Ming stopped and recovered his true qi while comprehending the ancient shield technique. A few days passed in the blink of an eye. Lu Ming realized that every time he placed 9 spirit crystals, the human figure could only last for 6 hours before dissipating. Lu Ming made great progress in the continuous battle. His martial skill had improved significantly. A few days later, Lu Ming came out of the Temple of Paragon and went to the tunnel. He fought with the fire spirit and comprehended the fire force. Every day, Lu Ming's schedule was packed to the brim. He strived to increase his strength as quickly as possible. Xian Yinqing also hid in the opposite cave every day. He was probably cultivating as well. Just like that, a month passed. Moon seizing. In the tunnel, Lu Ming swept his spear and a dozen fire spirits were sent flying and exploded in the air. The flaming astral spear art has finally reached the 6th level. Man and martial skill is one. Chapter 172. After a month of hard work, the flaming astral spear art had finally broken through to the 6th level. Lu Ming's combat strength had increased once again. His fire force had also improved, and he was getting closer to the small success stage. Unfortunately, the ancient shield art's progress was still slow, and there was still a long way to go before he could reach the 1st level. However, he was still improving in all aspects. Lu Ming roused himself and continued to cultivate. The flaming astral spear art had already reached the great completion stage. Next, Lu Ming focused more on the ancient shield art and the fire force. He spent more than half of the day fighting the flame spirit in this tunnel. His understanding of the fire force had increased by leaps and bounds. In the blink of an eye, another month had passed. On the 3rd platform in the Temple of Paragon, Lu Ming was fighting with a blurry figure. That figure had completely replicated Lu Ming's combat strength. No matter how much Lu Ming improved, the figure also improved. Boom, boom. The flaming tongue spear was like a fire dragon in Lu Ming's hands. It danced in the air and unleashed a powerful force. The space kept exploding. There's a flaw. Lu Ming's eyes suddenly lit up. His spear was like lightning as it pierced towards the figure's right shoulder. Just as the tip of the spear was about to pierce his shoulder, a light suddenly flashed from his body, and a shield about 1.5 meters long and 1 meter wide appeared. The shield looked very ancient, and it was bronze in color. It looked like it was a shield used by ancient people in battle. Clang! The spear pierced the shield, and there was a loud explosion. Lu Ming used all his strength to pierce the shield, but the shield didn't budge. The huge force caused Lu Ming's spear to bend. Whoosh! At this moment, the figure also pierced towards Lu Ming. It was as fast as lightning, and there was no time to dodge. Ancient shield. With a thought, an ancient shield identical to the other party's appeared in front of Lu Ming. When the other party's spear struck the shield, it did not budge at all. This was the ancient shield technique. After 2 months of hard work, Lu Ming had finally succeeded in cultivating it 2 days ago. He had reached the 1st level and was able to condense an ancient shield to protect himself. An Earth-grade martial skill was indeed worthy of being called an Earth-grade martial skill. Its power was still beyond Lu Ming's expectations. Even if he used all his strength, he could not break it in the slightest. With the ancient shield technique, as long as the person's combat strength was similar to his, he would be in an invincible position. Boom! Lu Ming and that figure both used the ancient shield technique. The two of them completely ignored each other's attacks and attacked each other crazily. Even if it is an Earth-grade martial skill, it should have a weakness. It is impossible for it to be flawless. What I need to do is to find the weakness of the ancient shield technique in the fierce battle with myself. This way, my comprehension of the ancient shield technique will be greatly increased. Lu Ming was very clear in his heart that the figure condensed on the 3rd platform had the same combat strength as him. As long as he continuously wanted to defeat himself, his martial skill would continue to improve. Fire Force, just a little bit more and I will be able to reach the small success stage. I feel that it won't be long. Lu Ming's eyes were extremely bright. Every aspect of his body was improving, which made Lu Ming feel extremely refreshed. What was more refreshing than watching yourself become stronger and stronger? The battle continued until 6 hours were up. When the spiritual chi of the spiritual crystals was almost exhausted, Lu Ming stopped. Holding a spiritual crystal with both hands, Lu Ming began to recover. With the appearance of the spirit-devouring bloodline, the spirit energy in the spirit crystal was devoured and refined by the bloodline in the blink of an eye, turning into Lu Ming's vital energy. Soon, Lu Ming's vital energy recovered and even improved. A few days ago, Lu Ming's cultivation had also improved a little, and he had reached the mid-second stage of the martial master realm. After recovering his true chi, Lu Ming left the Temple of Paragon and planned to walk around the cave to relax his mind. After arriving at the cave, Lu Ming couldn't help but look at the cave where Xian Yinqing was. It had been 2 months, and Xian Yinqing had been hiding in that cave and hadn't come out. Moreover, Lu Ming could vaguely hear the sound of flowing water. What's in that cave? Lu Ming was overflowing with curiosity and decided to take a look. He restrained his aura and carefully approached. When he arrived at the entrance of the cave, the sound of flowing water became even clearer. Great. So there really is water. I haven't had a drop of water for a month. Lu Ming's eyes shone with a fiery light. Although he had some water in his storage ring, he had used it up a month ago. In the past month, he hadn't had a drop of water. Although with his cultivation, it wouldn't be a problem even if he didn't drink water for half a year because he could absorb the spiritual chi of heaven and earth to replenish himself, it was still very uncomfortable. He tiptoed in, and a river came into view. Yes, a river. There was actually an underground river here. It was 5 to 6 meters wide, and the river flowed to an unknown place. How was this a cave? It was clearly another huge underground cave. However, he didn't see Xian Yinqing's figure. That's strange. Where did Xian Yinqing go? Lu Ming walked to the underground river and looked around curiously. However, he didn't see Xian Yinqing's figure. Who cares about her? She might be cultivating in another cave. I'll take a bath first. Lu Ming hadn't taken a bath for 2 months and felt that his whole body was about to stink. When he saw an underground river, he suddenly felt itchy all over. In no time, Lu Ming had taken off all his clothes. He was stark naked. Splash! At this moment, in the river in front of Lu Ming, water splashed and a figure emerged from the water. Wasn't that Xian Yinqing? At this moment, Xian Yinqing's upper body was almost exposed above the water. A large area of snow-white skin was reflected in Lu Ming's eyes. Although Xian Yinqing was young, she had developed quite a lot. A pair of small rabbits stood erect in front of her chest. Drops of water hung on them, crystal clear. Lu Ming had never seen such a scene before. His eyes immediately widened as he stared blankly. When Xian Yinqing came out of the water, she immediately saw a naked man standing in front of her. She was also stunned. Her eyes were wide open as she stared at Lu Ming with a confused expression. Pervert. After a while, a heaven-shaking, earth-shattering shriek rang out from within the cave. Nestle. Lu Ming also came to his senses. He picked up his clothes and put them on quickly. Xian Yinqing sank to the bottom of the water. In a few breaths of time, she rushed up again. The difference was that she was wearing a long dress. Lu Ming, you actually dared to peek at me bathing. I'm going to kill you. Xian Yinqing screamed. Her body was like lightning as she rushed toward Lu Ming. While she was in the air, she continuously sent out a few palm strikes. A few powerful palm strikes blasted toward Lu Ming. Third layer martial master. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. It was obvious that Xian Yinqing's cultivation had broken through in the past 2 months. Lu Ming did not take the attack head-on. He used the high air steps and his body flashed, avoiding Xian Yinqing's palm strikes. After 2 months of cultivation, his high air steps had also improved to the 4th level. Don't even think about dodging. Xian Yinqing shouted and sent out 6 palm strikes. In an instant, 6 demonic palm strikes blasted toward Lu Ming. So strong. She became stronger again. Lu Ming was secretly surprised. Chapter 173. Hey, are you crazy? I didn't do it on purpose. Lu Ming yelled and used his high steps to evade the attack. I don't care if you did it on purpose or not. Anyway, you saw it. I'm going to dig your eyeballs out. Xian Yinqing's eyes were cold. Damn, so what if I saw it? You even saw my private parts? I only saw half of you, but you saw my whole body. How are we going to settle this? Lu Ming shouted angrily. Shameless pervert, shameless, despicable scum. Xian Yinqing was so angry that his face turned red, and he cursed incoherently. Lu Ming was speechless. Boom, boom. Xian Yinqing's palm power became stronger and blocked Lu Ming from all directions. Even if Lu Ming used the soaring steps, it would be difficult for him to dodge. Ancient Shield. Without hesitation, Lu Ming used the Ancient Shield secret art. An ancient shield condensed and floated in front of him. Boom, boom. Xian Yinqing's demonic great palm continuously smashed on the ancient shield. A series of violent explosions sounded. The ancient shield in front of Lu Ming shook violently, but it was not broken. It completely blocked Xian Yinqing's demonic great palm. Earth-level martial skill. You actually cultivated an Earth-level martial skill? Xian Yinqing let out an incredulous cry. Generally, only martial ancestor realm warriors were qualified to cultivate an Earth-level martial skill. Now, Lu Ming, who was only a second-level martial master, was able to successfully cultivate it. No wonder Xian Yinqing was shocked. Haha, now you know how powerful I am? How about this? Since we've seen each other, why don't you follow me and follow me in the future? Well, don't fight anymore. I won't lower myself to your level. Lu Ming laughed loudly. He was very arrogant. I'll dig your eyes out from your big head, Xian Yinqing shouted. Unwilling to give up, he launched a storm of attacks at Lu Ming. It had to be said that Xian Yinqing was really too strong. In terms of battle prowess, Lu Ming was definitely not his match. However, Lu Ming had mastered the ancient shield technique. All of Xian Yinqing's attacks were blocked by the ancient shield. Xian Yinqing blasted out dozens of palms in succession, but he was unable to break through Lu Ming's defense. Instead, he was so tired that he was gasping for breath. Xian Yinqing, you're the one who was unkind in the first place. You monopolized such a good place, yet you still have the nerve to attack me. Don't think that I'm afraid of you. Lu Ming coldly shouted. While defending, Lu Ming did not forget to attack. His long spear pierced through the air, constantly attacking Xian Yinqing's vital points, but all of his attacks were scattered by Xian Yinqing's palm power. The two of them exchanged more than 100 moves, but neither of them could do anything to the other. Finally, after exchanging a move, they both retreated more than 10 steps and stood facing each other. Xian Yinqing was gasping for breath. When he thought of the scene just now, his cheeks flushed red. He stared fiercely at Lu Ming. If looks could kill, Lu Ming would have been pierced into a hornet's nest. Lu Ming was also sweating all over and panting like a cow. He held a few spirit crystals in his hand and controlled his blood to recover. Although the power of an Earth-level martial skill was great, the consumption of true qi was also extremely terrifying. Hey, why are you staring at me so hard? Do you still want to see? I'm already dressed. Do you want me to take them off? Lu Ming could not help but say. As soon as the words left his mouth, Lu Ming wanted to slap himself and secretly scold himself for his cheap mouth. Sure enough, Xian Yinqing's beautiful eyes widened and emitted a cold, murderous intent. He gritted his teeth and wanted to bite Lu Ming a few times. However, this time, Xian Yinqing did not make a move. Instead, he stared fiercely at Lu Ming and said coldly, "This time, I'll let it go. Now, please leave this place. I've already said before that this place belongs to me." It belongs to you? Why should it belong to you? This is an underground river. Can you use it all? I want to take a bath now. After the big battle, Lu Ming felt even more itchy all over. He wanted to jump into the underground river and take a bath. No, Xian Yinqing said coldly. No? I'm a man. A man can't say no. Today, even if I can't, I have to. Hey, I'm going to take off my clothes. If you want to look at me more. After saying that, Lu Ming began to take off his clothes. He found that to deal with Xian Yinqing, he could not use normal means. Instead, it was easier to deal with him by being a rascal. Sure enough, when Xian Yinqing saw Lu Ming take off his clothes, his eyes were burning with anger. However, in the end, he had no choice but to clench his teeth and turn around to leave. Haha, Lu Ming laughed heartily. He took off his clothes and jumped into the underground river. The river water was extremely cold. Lu Ming was wrapped in it. Lu Ming felt that every pore on his body was opened and a comfortable feeling spread throughout his body. Cool, this is too cool. Lu Ming could not help but sigh. Then, Lu Ming leisurely soaked in the water. Hey, there are fish in the water? Lu Ming suddenly felt that there was something swimming under the water. Lu Ming dived into the water. The underground river was quite deep, at least more than 10 meters deep. When Lu Ming dived down, he found many silver-white palm-sized prawns swimming around. So it's a prawn. Wait, is this a centenarian prawn? Lu Ming's eyes widened in surprise. Centenarian prawn was a strange species that could live for at least 100 years. It was extremely rare and lived in places where people rarely went. The most famous thing about the centenarian prawn was that its meat was extremely delicious and contained a large amount of essence. If a martial artist consumed it, it could continuously improve their physical body and enhance their physical strength. In the outside world, each of them could be sold for a sky-high price. However, Lu Ming could see a group of them at a glance. No wonder Xian Yinqing wanted to occupy this place and not leave. It turns out that there are centenarian prawns here. So cunning. Lu Ming originally felt a little sorry for Xian Yinqing, but now he felt indignant. I'll catch it. Lu Ming grabbed with his claw. True Qi gushed out and formed a net of true Qi, covering the centenarian prawn. Splash! A group of at least 20 centenarian prawns was caught by Lu Ming. Lu Ming took out a jade box and filled it with water. He placed the centenarian prawns in the jade box and kept it in the Temple of Paragon. Then, he twisted his body and swam forward like a fish, catching a group of centenarian prawns. In less than half an hour, Lu Ming had caught more than 100 centenarian prawns. There are so many centenarian prawns in this underground river. There should be more in other places. I'll come back in a few days. Lu Ming rushed out of the water with satisfaction and put on his clothes. When he walked out of the cave, he didn't see Xian Yinqing in the cave outside. He should be in another cave. Lu Ming couldn't be bothered. He returned to the cave he was in before and sat on the stone bench. With a wave of his hand, a box of centenarian prawns was placed on the stone table. The centenarian prawns were palm-sized and silver-white in color. Lu Ming picked one up and shook it to death with his true Qi. Then, he peeled off the shell of the centenarian prawn. The crystal-clear and plump prawn meat was revealed. Lu Ming took a bite. It was soft and tender. There was no fishy smell. Instead, there was a faint fragrance. It was indeed very delicious. Lu Ming finished the centenarian prawn in a few bites. Then, he felt a cool energy spreading throughout his body, seeping into his muscles and bones. Waves of numbness and itchiness spread out. It was very comfortable. Immediately, Lu Ming used the Raging Flame Vajra art to refine the energy and increase the strength of his body. The centenarian prawns are indeed amazing. It's just as the rumors say. Chapter 174. Then, Lu Ming ate more than 10 centenarian shrimps in a row. After refining the essence of the 10 centenarian shrimps, Lu Ming's body was constantly approaching the level of rank 2 upper realm. The taste is really good, but it should be better if I change the taste. Lu Ming clicked his tongue. Then, his eyes lit up. He got up and walked out to the flaming passage. As soon as he walked into the passage, flames and fire spirits emerged from the passage. Grill them for me. Lu Ming waved his hand and more than 10 centenarian shrimps appeared. They were controlled by Lu Ming's genuine Qi and floated in the air. Lu Ming was actually using the flames here to grill the shrimps. If the ancestors of the Dongyi tribe who had set up these inscriptions saw this, they would be so angry that they would crawl out of their coffins. Sizzle! The centenarian shrimps made sizzling sounds. Soon, a fragrant aroma filled the air. As for the fire spirits, they were all blown away by Lu Ming's long spear. As time passed, the aroma became stronger and stronger. In the end, The aroma filled the entire underground cave. Xian Yinqing's figure appeared at the entrance of a cave and looked over curiously. When she saw Lu Ming looking at her, she couldn't help but snort coldly and return to the cave. Lu Ming couldn't be bothered with her. At this time, the centenarian shrimps had been grilled. They were red all over. He walked out of the passage and picked up one to peel the shell. After peeling the shell, the aroma became several times stronger. He couldn't wait to take a bite. It was soft and fragrant. It was several times better than when it wasn't grilled. Awesome! This is awesome! Then, Lu Ming finished the dozen centenarian shrimps like a whirlwind. Satisfied, he returned to the cave to refine the essence of the centenarian shrimps. His physical body was constantly improving. Soon, the essence of the dozen centenarian shrimps was refined. At this time, a strong aroma came from outside. Lu Ming walked out of the cave and saw Xian Yinqing roasting shrimps in the passage like him. Seeing Lu Ming, Xian Yinqing blushed slightly. Then, she glared at Lu Ming and snorted coldly, then continued to grill shrimps. Haha. Lu Ming laughed and returned to the cave to continue cultivating. 5 days later, Lu Ming ran out of centenarian shrimps and went to the underground river to catch more. Xian Yinqing was helpless. Lu Ming had cultivated the ancient shield. She couldn't break it for the time being, so she could only let Lu Ming catch it. She couldn't break it. She could only let Lu catch. In order to break through an Earth-tier defensive martial skill, only an Earth-tier offensive martial skill of the same level would be possible. Or, his cultivation was too high. Xian Yinqing's cultivation technique was rather special. She had yet to start cultivating an Earth-level martial skill. You. Xian Yinqing could only comfort herself like this. In this way, Lu Ming would catch centenarian shrimps every few days. In the blink of an eye, 3 months had passed since the collapse of this small plane. In the last period, Lu Ming's physical body rushed to complete second stage with the help of the centenarian shrimps. The progress was so fast that Lu Ming was speechless. Therefore, in the last few days, Lu Ming crazily caught centenarian shrimps and stored them. Of course, Xian Yinqing did the same. Almost all the centenarian shrimps in the river were caught. When the 3 months were up, the place where the stone altar had exploded began to emit rays of light. On the ground, the inscriptions were shining and covered the ground like a net. Lu Ming and Xian Yinqing stood aside and waited. A few hours later, the inscriptions were dazzling and finally condensed into a light door. The space path, the teleportation door. Lu Ming was overjoyed. After being trapped here for 3 months, he could finally get out. In these 3 months, he had gained a lot. Although the cultivation environment here was much better than outside, if he stayed here for a long time, his family and friends outside would be worried. Moreover, blindly cultivating was not necessarily better. Martial artists needed to experience various things in the mortal world to hone their state of mind. Only then could they continue to improve. Whoosh! Whoosh! When the teleportation door appeared, Lu Ming and Xian Yinqing moved at the same time and rushed into the light door. After a while, when everything stabilized, Lu Ming found that he had returned to Mount Jiuyao. He and Xian Yinqing stood on a huge monster stone statue. Under their feet, light was shining. Then, the light dimmed and everything returned to normal. It's a one-way teleportation. It seems that it's impossible to enter in the future. Lu Ming thought to himself. Lu Ming, I'll settle the score with you sooner or later. Humph. Xian Yinqing stared at Lu Ming fiercely. Anytime. But don't get beaten up by me the next time you see me. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Beaten up by you? How is that possible? Next time, I'll definitely smash your turtle shell and trample you under my feet. Xian Yinqing gritted his teeth. Then, his body flashed and disappeared under Mount Jiuyao like a black butterfly. Lu Ming smiled and did not mind. I wonder how the war in Donkey City is going? Lu Ming's thoughts returned to the war in Donkey City. Then, Lu Ming moved. He stepped on the top of the tree and rushed to Donkey City. Half a day later, Donkey City was in sight. But now, the situation in Donkey City was completely different from 3 months ago. 3 months ago, Donkey City was on high alert. But now, Donkey City's gates were open and people were coming in and out in an endless stream. It seemed that the war in Donkey City was over. After Lu Ming entered the city, he went straight to the mayor's mansion. He wanted to find Fu Liang to ask about the situation. When he showed his identity as a disciple of the Mystic Essence Sword Sect, he naturally met Fu Liang. Lu Ming, you're not dead? Fu Liang was shocked to see Lu Ming. Lu Ming smiled bitterly and said, City Lord Fu, I'm fine. Young hero Lu Ming, it's great that you're not dead. That day, the disciples of the Mystic Essence Sword Sect came back and said that you've died in the ruins of the Dongi tribe. Fu Liang told him about the situation during this period. 3 months ago, the disciples of the Mystic Essence Sword Sect came back with only 50 people left. They said that the others had died in the ruins of the Dongi tribe. The Dongi tribe also retreated to the coastal mountains 1 day later. This incident shook the entire Mystic Essence Sword Sect. Many people came to find Lu Ming, but in the end, they all returned without success. Lu Ming guessed that those people should be Pang Shi, Feng Wu, Mulins, and the others. I heard that the Mystic Essence Sword Sect has confirmed the fact that you've died in battle. This news has also been reported to your family. Fu Liang said, What? They've already reported to my family. Lu Ming's heart tightened. If Li Ping knew that he was dead, how sad would she be? In Li Ping's heart, Lu Yuntian was already dead. Lu Ming was her only hope. If she knew that Lu Ming was dead, how desperate would she be? At this moment, Lu Ming was anxious to return home. Thank you, Mayor Fu. I have to go home now. Goodbye. Lu Ming cupped his fists. Without a moment's hesitation, he left the mayor's mansion and rushed toward Firestorm City. Fortunately, Donkey City was not too far away from Windy Fire City. Lu Ming used the high air steps and traveled at full speed. He was like a gust of wind as he rushed toward Windy Fire City. When his true chi was exhausted, he used spirit crystals to recover. Chapter 175. Look, who's that? Lu Ming, that's the young lord of the Lu clan. Lu Ming, didn't they say that he was dead? So he's not dead. Something big is going to happen. As soon as Lu Ming walked into Firestorm City, the crowd looked at him in disgust. Lu Ming frowned. He felt that the people around him were looking at him strangely. Other than surprise, there was also a trace of pity. Lu Ming was puzzled, but he did not stop. He went straight to the Lu clan. After a while, he arrived at the gate of the Lu clan. Who's there? Stop right there. You're the young lord? Lu Ming. A burly man guarding the gate shouted. When he saw that it was Lu Ming, he cried out in surprise. The other burly men guarding the gate were also shocked. It's me. I'm not dead. Get out of the way, Lu Ming said. With that, he was about to walk in. However, the burly men guarding the gate pulled out their sabers and blocked in front of Lu Ming. Lu Ming, you can't go in. Impudent. Lu Ming shouted. His frown deepened. The guards of the Lu clan actually called him by his name and pulled out their sabers to stop him. Something was wrong. Seeing that Lu Ming was angry, the burly men's faces turned pale. Obviously, they were afraid. One of them gritted his teeth and said, Lu Ming, we're following orders. No one is allowed to go in. Following orders? Whose orders? Lu Ming scolded, but the bad feeling in his heart grew stronger. Young lord, go, don't come back. Suddenly, a white-haired old man rushed out from inside and shouted loudly, Uncle Chong, what's going on? Lu Ming shouted. The old man was an old servant of the Lu clan. He did not have much cultivation, but he had always been loyal to the Lu clan. Young lord, it's the Grand Elder. He's back, and he's bringing a lot of experts with him. He wants to take over the Lu clan for himself. Several of the core elders were killed, and the other branches of the Lu clan have already submitted to the Grand Elder. He shouted at the count. What? Lu Yunxiong. Lu Ming's heart shook violently. Where is my mother? How is my mother? Lu Ming immediately thought of Li Ping. Madam has been locked up in the courtyard of the main hall and has been interrogated by them for 2 days. This old servant doesn't know how the situation is. Young master, the great elder has brought many experts with him this time. You are no match for him. You should leave first. As long as you are alive, there is hope. Uncle Chung tried to persuade him, but worry was written all over his face. Boom, boom, boom. Uncle Chang's words were like bolts of lightning that exploded in Lu Ming's heart. In an instant, an indescribable cold-killing intent was emitted from Lu Ming's body. Lu Yunxiang, Lu Ming whispered, his eyes extremely cold. At the same time, he was extremely afraid that something had happened to Li Ping. The burly gatekeepers and Uncle Chung shuddered, and a gust of cold air rushed to the top of their heads. Whoosh! Suddenly, a cold light shot out from behind the door. It was too sudden. Lu Ming was shocked, and it was too late for him to save Li Ping. A sword light pierced through Uncle Chang's back. Blood splattered everywhere, and Uncle Chung fell to the ground. Young lord, leave now. Leave now. Uncle Chung shouted, and gradually stopped breathing. A young man in his 20s walked out from behind the door and said coldly, "Old man, how dare you leak information? You're courting death." Then, he looked at Lu Ming with a slightly surprised expression. "Lu Ming, you're really lucky to be alive after falling into the Dongyi ruins. However, you shouldn't have come back. Since you're back, I'll send you on your way. Die." At this moment, Lu Ming's expression calmed down, but the murderous intent in his eyes was colder than 10,000-year-old ice. This young man had a green tree embroidered on his sleeve. Obviously, he was a young expert from the Duanmu family. "What? You want to kill me? I know your combat strength is comparable to an ordinary 5th-level martial master, but I'm also a 5th-level martial master. Do you think I'm an ordinary 5th-level martial master?" The young man from the Duanmu family sneered. "Nonsense, die." Boom. At this moment, Lu Ming unleashed his full strength. The powerful true qi, coupled with the power of fire, was like a volcano erupting. Boom. The long spear swept towards the young man from the Duanmu family. The young man from the Duanmu family's expression changed greatly, and he blocked with his sword. However, boom. Lu Ming's long spear collided with his long sword. He felt as though he had been hit by a volcano. His body flew backward like a cannonball, smashing through 2 walls consecutively before finally being embedded in the 3rd wall. How is this possible? His eyes were filled with disbelief and fear. One move, just one move, and all the bones in his body were broken, and he was embedded into the wall like a pile of mud. How could Lu Ming be so strong? He was a genius, and his combat strength was not something an ordinary 5th-level martial master could compare to. Yet, he could not even block one move from Lu Ming. Lu Ming held the long spear and walked step by step towards the young man from the Duanmu family. The guards at the door were scared out of their wits, and their bodies trembled. "Lu Ming, don't kill me. My Duanmu family has a 9th-level martial master expert here. If you kill me, your whole family will die, and your mother will be miserable." The young man from the Duanmu family screamed in horror. Whoosh! The long spear in Lu Ming's hand turned into a spear light and shot out, piercing through the young man's heart and nailing him to the wall. Lu Ming's body moved, and he jumped over 2 walls. He pulled out the long spear and headed towards the Lu family's courtyard. The Lu family's courtyard was outside the Lu family's conference hall, and it occupied a large area. At this moment, there was an armchair at the entrance of the conference hall. An old man was sitting on it, resting with his eyes closed. There were more than 10 people around the old man, and one of them was Lu Yunxiang. He was staring coldly at the courtyard. In the courtyard, Li Ping and 4 other core elders of the Lu family stood together. They were surrounded by more than 30 burly men. These people were basically from the Duanmu family. However, there was an exception, and that was Ning Kong. Yes, Ning Feng's father, one of the chief elders of the Vermilion Bird family, Ning Kong. "Li Ping, have you thought it through? Announce to the entire Lu family that you will pass the patriarch position to me, and then kneel in front of everyone and apologize to me, admitting that you have wronged me." Lu Yunxiang looked coldly at Li Ping and said, "Don't even think about it. In your dreams." Li Ping rejected immediately. "Don't even think about it? You're about to die, and you're still holding on. I've starved you for 2 days, and it seems like it's not enough. Then continue to starve and stand here. I'll see how long you can hold on." Lu Yunxiang said gloomily. Li Ping's face was pale, and her body was trembling. She looked extremely weak. 2 days. It had been 2 days. She had been forced by Lu Yunxiong to stand in the courtyard without food or water, and she had to endure the scorching sun. Chapter 176. Lu Yunxiong, give up. Even if I die, I won't let you have your way. Li Ping scolded. Bitch, what's the point of holding on? Your husband is dead, and now that little bastard Lu Ming is dead too. You dare to go against me? I want all of you dead. Lu Yunxiong scolded. Nonsense. My son Lu Ming will never die. Li Ping shouted. He won't die. Don't deceive yourself. He can't be any more dead. You have no one to rely on. Lu Yunxiong sneered and attacked Li Ping. Ming-er. Li Ping's body trembled and tears welled up in her eyes. Although she did not admit it, she knew very well that Lu Ming was afraid that an accident had really happened. The Mystic Essence Sword Sect sent someone to announce it. How could it be wrong? She was in despair. Lu Yunxiong, aren't you afraid of being punished by the higher-ups of the Mystic Essence Sword Sect? A core elder shouted angrily. Haha, punish? When Lu Ming was alive, he was indeed a peerless genius and was valued by the Mystic Essence Sword Sect. But now that he's dead, who would punish me for a dead person? Moreover, everyone here is from the Duanmu family. How could the higher-ups of the Mystic Essence Sword Sect punish someone from the Duanmu family? What a joke. Lu Yunxiong laughed wildly. The other burly men from the Duanmu family also laughed proudly. What a pity. What a pity that little bastard Lu Ming is dead. Otherwise, I would kill his mother in front of him and let him have a taste of losing his family. Ning Kong's tone was very cold. Bah, a shameless person. Like father, like son. Look at you. No wonder your son died in Ming-er's hands. Li Ping glared at Ning Kong and said disdainfully, You're courting death. Ning Kong was furious and said to Lu Yunxiong, Brother Lu, I don't think we should wait any longer. Let me take action now and torture this bitch. I want her to beg for death. At that time, she will agree to whatever conditions you have. Lu Yunxiong, let's do it this way. We don't have so much time to waste here. The old man from the Duanmu clan opened his eyes and said, Good. Then let's do it this way. I'll leave this person to Brother Ning. You can do whatever you want. Just use whatever means you have. Lu Yunxiong sneered. Lu Yunxiong, what are you trying to do? How could you treat a member of the Lu clan like this? Are you still human? A core elder of the Lu family roared. Bang! Suddenly, Ning Kong's figure moved, and a palm strike landed on this core elder's body. Ning Kong was a 9th-level martial master expert, a core elder of the Lu clan. How could he possibly block it? His body was pierced through by the boundless palm energy, and he was sent flying, no longer breathing. You old fogies, why are you chirping here? You're courting death. Ning Kong said coldly. All of you will die a horrible death. Lu Yunxiong, you will suffer retribution. The other 3 core elders roared. Now, only 3 of the 7 core elders of the Lu clan were left. The rest were killed by the Duanmu clan 2 days ago. Shut up, you old fogies. I wanted to spare your lives, but it seems like it's no longer necessary. Attack, kill them. Lu Yunxiong waved his hand. Clang, clang. Around them, a few burly men from the Duanmu clan unsheathed their sabers and were about to attack. At that moment, a burly man who was covered in blood staggered in. Oh no! Oh no! The burly man shouted. What's going on? Lu Yunxiong's face changed. Lu Ming, it's Lu Ming. The burly man exclaimed. As soon as he said that, everyone was shocked. What Lu Ming? Lu Ming is dead. Lu Yunxiong said. No, he's not dead. He's not dead. He killed his way in. The burly man shouted, his eyes shining with fear. What? Lu Yunxiong and the others were shocked. As for Li Ping and the other 3 core elders, they were stunned for a moment before they were overjoyed. Ming-er is not dead. Ming-er is not dead. Li Ping muttered to himself, tears of joy rolling down his cheeks. He was so excited that his body trembled. Haha, the young lord is not dead. I knew it. The young lord is a genius. How could he die? The core elders of the Lu clan laughed. Impossible. How is this possible? Lu Yunxiong roared. Nothing is impossible. A cold voice came from the sky. A young figure stepped on the void, his body as light as a feather, and floated in. Lu Ming, it's Lu Ming. It's really him. He's not dead. Exclamations could be heard from the crowd. Haha, it's really the young lord. The three core elders laughed. Ming'er. Li Ping was excited. Lu Ming, it's really him. Lu Yunxiong and Ning Kong growled in shock. Lu Ming did not look at the others. He took several steps forward and landed in front of Li Ping like a gust of wind. Looking at Li Ping's pale face, Lu Ming felt a throbbing pain in his heart. His eyes reddened as he said, Mother, I'm late, I've made you suffer. Ming'er, is it really you? Mother thought I'd never see you again. Li Ping caressed Lu Ming's face as tears flowed down her cheeks. Initially, she really thought that Lu Ming was dead, and her heart was filled with despair. But now, Lu Ming was standing in front of her, alive and well. The joy was indescribable, and she seemed to have recovered a lot in an instant. Mother, take this pill. Lu Ming took out a pill that could replenish blood and qi and fed it to Li Ping. Li Ping took the pill, but as if she remembered something, her face changed. Ming'er, leave quickly. Don't care about Mother. Leave quickly. Leave? Since you're here, you want to leave? Ridiculous. Lu Yunxiong said coldly. At this moment, Lu Ming slowly turned around. His expression was indifferent, and his eyes were cold as ice. His gaze swept across Lu Yunxiong, Ning Kong, and the other members of the Duamu family. He said coldly, All of you must die. Lu Ming's murderous intent was extremely strong. He had never felt such a strong murderous intent toward anyone before. Dragons had reverse scales, and those who touched them would be killed. For Lu Ming, his family was his reverse scale. Haha, Lu Ming, you still want to kill us? What a joke. Lu Yunxiong laughed. Kill? Lu Ming must be killed. Kill him, and pretend that he didn't appear today, that he died in the Dongyi ruins. The old man in the armchair stood up and said coldly, If Lu Ming returned to the Mystic Essence Sword Sect, it would be difficult for them to act. They might as well kill Lu Ming today, and pretend that Lu Ming didn't appear and died in the Dongyi ruins. This way, as long as the higher-ups of the Mystic Essence Sword Sect didn't send people to investigate, they wouldn't know. Lu Ming, it's good that you're not dead. Today, I'll kill the person closest to you in front of you, and let you taste the pain of losing a loved one. Haha. Ning Kong laughed. Lu Ming, you're really stupid. If I were you, I would run back to the Mystic Essence Sword Sect. How dare you show up here in broad daylight? You're the one who's looking for death. Chapter 177. Young Master, leave quickly. Don't worry about us. A core elder roared. Kill. Kill. However, Lu Ming's killing intent soared to the sky. His aura exploded as he swept his long spear towards the surrounding Duanmu family members. Kill him, Lu Yunxiong shouted. Swish. Swish. Sabers were unsheathed one by one. The surrounding Duanmu family members shouted angrily as they slashed towards Lu Ming. Dozens of people attacked together. However, when Lu Ming's long spear swept past, the saber radiance collapsed. 5 or 6 men were swept away by Lu Ming like cannonballs. They crashed into the wall of the courtyard and slid down like mud, without any signs of life. Kill. Lu Ming shouted angrily as he swept his spear again. Another 7 or 8 men were killed. These were all martial artists in the martial master realm. They were far inferior to Lu Ming. Attack, martial masters, attack? Lu Yunxiong was shocked and furious. On the stairs, more than 10 martial master realm martial artists dashed out and pounced on Lu Ming. Among the dozen or so martial grandmasters, the lowest cultivation was at the 1st level of the martial grandmaster realm, and the highest was at the 5th level of the martial grandmaster realm. When more than 10 people joined forces, their power was shocking. Landslide. In an instant, Lu Ming erupted with all his strength without holding back. He brought out his bloodline and the power of fire, bringing out his full combat prowess. During this period of time, Lu Ming had made great progress. Before he came out, His fire force had reached small success. His fire force had reached small success, and its power was extremely terrifying. Lu Ming's entire body was filled with scorching heat, as if he was a volcano with raging flames. Boom! Lu Ming ignored the attacks. He swept his long spear with the force of a landslide. Bang! Bang! The result was the same as before. Lu Ming was unstoppable. 4 to 5 strong martial masters were sent flying. Their bones were broken and their internal organs were shattered. They died before they landed on the ground. Strong, unbelievably strong. Lu Yunxiong and the others gasped in shock and anger. Li Ping and the 3 core elders were shocked, surprised, and delighted. Kill. Lu Ming's murderous aura surged like a tide, his momentum like a rainbow. His eyes had already turned red from the killing. Boom. With another sweep of the spear, a few more great martial masters were killed. Lu Ming held the long spear in his hand, like an undefeatable god of war, killing unhindered. The people of the Duanmu clan were extremely shocked and couldn't help but retreat. This brat can't be left alive. He's too terrifying. Ning Kong, Lu Yunxiong, and the others roared in their hearts. Every time he saw Lu Ming, he would discover that Lu Ming's strength would increase crazily, as if it would never stop. I'll kill him. Ning Kong roared furiously, his body pouncing towards Lu Ming like an eagle. While in midair, he struck out with his palm. Ning Kong was a peak expert of the 9th level of the Martial Master realm. This palm strike was earth-shattering. The space rumbled and the air exploded. A terrifying pressure surged towards Lu Ming. Ancient shield. An ancient shield appeared, blocking in front of Lu Ming. Explode. At the same time, Lu Ming exploded with his strongest move, blasting towards Ning Kong's palm force. Boom. Terrifying shockwaves rolled in all directions. Lu Ming's attack was destroyed. The powerful palm force continued to blast towards Lu Ming. Ming'er. Li Ping turned pale with fright. At this moment, Li Ping was led by the 3 core elders to a corner of the courtyard. Clang! The powerful palm force blasted onto the shield in front of Lu Ming, causing a violent explosion. The ancient shield was vibrating continuously. Thereafter, it exploded with a loud bang. Lu Ming's body was thrown backward for more than 20 meters. He slammed heavily against a wall before coming to a stop. Puff! He spat out a mouthful of blood. The 9th level of the Martial Master realm is indeed powerful. Lu Ming was secretly shocked. Just now, he had resisted with all his strength. First, he used the explode to reduce a part of the opponent's palm force. Then, he used the ancient shield art to resist. Even with his perfect second stage body, he was still injured by the palm. My bloodline is indeed useless against an existence 5 levels higher than me. Lu Ming sighed. Just now, his bloodline had not erupted yet. It could have devoured half of the attack, but it had failed just now. Ning Kong's cultivation was 7 levels higher than his. The difference was too great. Lu Ming was shocked, but he did not know that Ning Kong and the others were even more shocked. Ning Kong's palm was blocked by Lu Ming. Although he was injured, he was not killed. This was too unbelievable. Especially Ning Kong himself, who was even more shocked. One had to know that he was a 9th level martial master expert. Although he did not go all out, he was confident that even a martial artist who was an 8th level martial master would be injured by his palm. What was Lu Ming's cultivation level? The 2nd level of the martial master realm. How was this possible? Earth level martial skill. You actually cultivated an earth level martial skill? The Duanmu family elder who was sitting on the armchair shouted crazily. What? Earth level martial skill? The others were even more shocked. Earth level martial skills were extremely rare. The difficulty of cultivating them was even more shocking. Normally, only martial ancestor realm warriors could cultivate them. Lu Ming was only a 2nd level martial master. How could he cultivate it successfully? Kill. We must kill him. At this moment, Lu Yunxiong, Ning Kong, and the Duanmu family elders were all shouting in their hearts. They were afraid. Lu Ming's talent was too terrifying. If he was allowed to grow, who knew how powerful he would be? That would be their disaster. Only by killing him in the cradle could they avoid this disaster. Boom. Ning Kong's aura surged. As for the Duanmu family elder, his aura also erupted. He was a 9th-level martial master and was even stronger than Ning Kong. He was at the peak of the 9th-level martial master. Lu Ming, you must die today. Lu Yunxiong roared. Is that so? You're the one who will die today. Lu Ming's voice was very indifferent. Ming'er, leave quickly. You're still not their match. As long as you leave, they won't dare to do anything to me. Li Ping shouted, extremely worried. Those people were too strong. Lu Ming was obviously not their match. Mother, don't worry. Even if the person who hurt you is at the end of the world, I will kill him. Lu Ming smiled slightly. At this moment, his hand glowed. The fire-tongue spear disappeared and was replaced by the demon-banishing spear. Beast soul, beast soul. I didn't expect it to come in handy so soon. Lu Ming whispered. That's right. He planned to merge with the beast soul and fight with Ning Kong. There were 2.5 beast souls in the demon-banishing spear. 2 of them were at the peak of martial ancestor realm and were known as half-step king beast souls. The other half was a king beast soul. Lu Ming planned to merge with the peak of martial ancestor realm beast soul. However, he was taking a huge risk. Given Lu Ming's current cultivation and physical strength, he was not confident that he would be able to withstand the recoil. However, this was the only way at the moment. Beast soul, come out. The demon-banishing spear shook and a beast roar was heard. A huge black wolf howled and flew into Lu Ming's body. Boom. At this moment, an extremely strong aura erupted from Lu Ming's body. This aura was strong, evil, tyrannical, and filled with killing intent. Roar. Lu Ming could not help but roar. His voice did not sound like a human's, but more like a wolf's. Oh no, he's merging with the beast soul. What a powerful beast soul. Stop him. Chapter 178. Boom. Boom. The Duanmu family's elder and Ning Kong attacked. 2 terrifying attacks blasted toward Lu Ming. Roar. Lu Ming roared and leaped forward, sweeping his spear horizontally. The air exploded, and the space trembled. Water-like ripples appeared. With 2 loud explosions, the Duanmu family's elder and Ning Kong trembled and flew backward. Ning Kong was even worse off. He spat out a mouthful of blood. How can it be so strong? What level is that demonic beast? Ning Kong shouted in disbelief. He can't hold on for long after fusing with such a powerful beast soul. He will explode from the beast soul's power. Let's attack together and make him explode faster. The Duanmu family's elder roared. At this moment, Lu Ming was indeed under great pressure. The beast soul's violent power was rampaging in his body. His muscles and bones groaned as if they could explode at any time. Even his perfected rank 2 body could not withstand it. At this moment, a blood-red light flashed at his spine, and a powerful devouring force was emitted. This devouring power had neutralized most of the violent tearing force. This greatly reduced the pressure on Lu Ming. Kill! Lu Ming roared and rushed forward. His target was Lu Yunxiong. He had to kill Lu Yunxiong. Save me! Lu Yunxiong turned pale with fright. His legs were trembling as he retreated. At this moment, the Duanmu family's elder and Ning Kong attacked again. The other Duanmu family members cooperated and attacked. Streaks of sword chi, saber light, and palm energy tore through the air toward Lu Ming. Sky-splitting wolf. Lu Ming roared. His long hair danced in the wind and his aura was demonic. With a thrust of his spear, wolf howls could be heard. From the spear, huge black wolves flew out. This was the combat technique of the huge black wolf beast soul. As he had fused with the beast soul, Lu Ming could use it temporarily. The huge black wolves pounced, their claws splitting the sky as they pounced toward the Duanmu family's experts. Blood-curdling screams rose and fell. More than 10 men from the Duanmu family were torn apart. The Duanmu family elder and Ning Kong were forced back by 7 or 8 black wolves. Kill them all. Lu Ming wielded his spear and charged towards the remaining Duanmu clan members like a tiger charging into a flock of sheep. Blood splattered everywhere, and blood chi permeated the air. At this moment, Lu Ming had transformed into a god of death, slaughtering to his heart's content. Every time a spear shadow flashed, a person would be killed. In just a few breaths, more than 20 people were killed. Fiendish demon, go. The remaining 10 or so members of the Duan Mu clan were scared out of their wits. They ran for their lives and fled outside. Lu Ming's figure flashed and killed a few more people. Retreat. Lu Ming is no match for him. Let's retreat first. The old man from the Duan Mu clan was so scared that his face was trembling. He roared in anger and then let out a long howl. Gia. Then, a bird cry came from the sky. The two large eagles swooped down. You want to retreat? Stay here. Lu Ming shouted and dashed out, sweeping his spear. Boom, boom. The old man from the Duan Mu clan and Ning Kong joined forces and exchanged a blow with Lu Ming. However, the result was that the two of them were forced to retreat. Ning Kong's face turned pale, and he spat out another mouthful of blood. Go. The old man from the Duan Mu clan borrowed the force and retreated to Lu Yunxiong's side. He grabbed Lu Yunxiong and soared into the sky, reaching 100 meters in the blink of an eye. Although experts at the peak of the 9th level of the martial Grandmaster realm could not fly, it was not difficult for them to jump a few hundred meters. At this moment, the two large eagles had also flown to this distance. The old man from the Duan Mu clan and Lu Yunxiong landed on the back of one of the large eagles. The large eagle cried out and soared into the sky. Lu Yunxiong was Lu Yao's father and Duan Mu Lin's future father-in-law. His status was not ordinary, and he had to save him. Bang! At this moment, Ning Kong stomped his foot and soared into the sky, flying toward the other large eagle. Stay here. Lu Ming roared. His body was like a cannonball as he soared into the sky and charged toward Ning Kong. Landslide. The long spear was like a mountain as it charged toward Ning Kong. Blood slaughter. Ning Kong roared and spat out 2 mouthfuls of blood. He exerted all his strength, and a terrifying aura roared as he threw out a few palm strikes. The blood and palm energy gathered and formed a few blood-red palm prints that blasted toward Lu Ming. Ning Kong was putting his life on the line. He had even used his secret technique. However, he still could not stop Lu Ming. After merging with the beast soul of a peak martial grandmaster, Lu Ming's strength was infinitely close to the martial grandmaster realm. He stood at the peak of the martial grandmaster realm. Ning Kong was no match for him. The long spear struck, and the palm prints were destroyed one by one. Ning Kong coughed out blood and retreated. He used this self-harming method and finally landed on the large eagle's back. On the other hand, Lu Ming's body fell downward. Haha, Lu Ming, you want to kill me? Dream on. You've killed so many people from the Duanmu family. No matter what, the Duanmu family will not let you off. Ning Kong laughed loudly. However, as he laughed, he spat out a mouthful of blood and his face turned as pale as a sheet. That's right. Lu Ming, wait for the anger of the Duanmu family. Your Lu family will be burned to ashes by this anger. The Duanmu family's elder and Lu Yunxiong rode on the large eagle and floated 1,000 meters in the air. At this moment, the Duanmu family's elder said coldly. The Duanmu family had suffered heavy losses in this battle. Even the elder himself had been forced to flee. This was a great humiliation, and the anger in his heart burned fiercely. Lu Ming, wait for your death. Lu Yunxiong roared angrily. Who allowed you to leave? Suddenly, Lu Ming, who was falling, spoke coldly. He suddenly stomped his feet in the air, and his body actually stopped falling. Instead, he shot up. At this moment, his strength had increased tremendously. Even the power of the airborne steps had increased greatly. How can this be? Ning Kong was shocked. He was only a few hundred meters in the air. It was too late for him to go back up. He could only try his best to control the large eagle and escape. The large eagle spread its wings and flew forward rapidly. Die! Lu Ming roared. He held the spear with one hand and bent his body into the shape of a bow. Then, he threw out the long spear. Using his body as a bow and the spear as an arrow, the long spear whistled through the air like a bolt of lightning. It was unbelievably fast. This was Lu Ming's full-powered spear. In an instant, it had crossed a few hundred meters and pierced towards Ning Kong. No, Ning Kong wailed. However, it was too late for him to dodge due to his heavy injuries. Poochie, the long spear pierced through Ning Kong's chest, bringing out a stream of blood. A large hole was blasted in Ning Kong's chest. His eyes were filled with extreme unwillingness and fear. As for the large eagle, it was shocked by the murderous intent of the spear. It cried out continuously and stopped in the air. Swoosh! Lu Ming took a few steps back. In an instant, he had crossed a few hundred meters and landed on the back of the large eagle. Lu Ming! Ning Kong cried out a few times in despair. Then, his vitality dissipated, and he was no longer breathing. Let's go. Above, Lu Yunxiong and the old man from the Duanmu family almost wet their pants. They hurriedly urged the large eagle to fly towards the mystic essence sword sect. Lu Ming raised his head and looked. He circulated the essential qi in his body, and it burst out. The large eagle under his feet cried out and obeyed the order obediently. Ming-er, are you all right? Li Ping hurried over and asked with concern. Mother, I'm fine. Chapter 179. Young Master. The three core elders of the Lu family were shocked. Their young master had grown to such a level. In their eyes, the Duanmu family's experts were invincible. However, in the hands of Lu Ming, they were killed like babies. They were shocked and could not calm down for a long time. Three core elders, please take care of my mother. Lu Ming looked at the three core elders. Yes. The three core elders replied instinctively. Ming-er, where are you going? Li Ping's expression changed. Lu Yunxiong must die. Mother, don't worry. I'll be fine. Lu Ming smiled. Then, Lu Ming's bloodline condensed. Lu Ming did not avoid it. His spirit-devouring bloodline opened his mouth and sucked. The blood essence of the Duanmu family experts who had died in the courtyard flew out and gathered toward Lu Ming. Among them, there were a few 5th grade and 4th grade martial masters. They were of great help to Lu Ming. Mother, I'm leaving, Lu Ming said. He leaped and stepped onto the huge eagle. Ming-er, be careful, Li Ping shouted. Mother, don't worry. Lu Ming nodded solemnly. Then, he stepped on the eagle. The eagle screeched and flew into the sky. The eagle soared into the sky. In the blink of an eye, the Lu family had disappeared. Lu Ming controlled the eagle and chased in the direction where Lu Yunxiong and the others had gone. At the same time, Lu Ming's aura dropped rapidly. The beast's soul's power was finally exhausted. Lu Ming returned to his original level. However, he felt a stinging pain all over his body. This was caused by the beast's soul's power attacking his body. Fortunately, I have the devouring bloodline and devoured most of the power. Otherwise, with my current cultivation and body, I wouldn't be able to withstand it. Lu Ming thought to himself. Then, he refined the power of the blood essence to recover his true qi and body. Not long after, the blood essence was completely refined. Among them, the essence blood of a few 5th-layer martial master experts was of great help to Lu Ming. Lu Ming's cultivation broke through to the peak of the 2nd-layer martial master realm in one go. As for the injuries on his body, they were more or less healed. At this moment, Lu Ming looked at Ning Kong's corpse on the back of the giant eagle. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. Ning Kong was a peak expert of the 9th layer of the martial grandmaster realm. His essence blood was absolutely terrifying. Lu Ming did not want to miss it, but he also did not dare to rashly devour it. The essence blood of a 9th layer martial grandmaster is not something that I can devour and refine right now. I'm afraid that if I devour it, my bloodline will explode. Lu Ming pondered. There was a limit to how much essence blood a bloodline could devour. Lu Ming felt that devouring an expert 3 or 4 levels higher than him was already somewhat strenuous. His bloodline would swell. And the essence blood of a 9th layer martial grandmaster expert was at least equivalent to the essence blood of more than 60,000 2nd-layer martial grandmasters. 60,000 was really too terrifying. Lu Ming guessed that if he devoured it, his bloodline might really explode from the violent energy. Forget it. I can't be too greedy. I'll just devour a drop and see. Lu Ming made up his mind. Then, He controlled his bloodline and carefully devoured a drop of essence blood, sinking it into his bloodline. Boom! In an instant, it was as if a volcano had erupted in his bloodline. Violent energy wreaked havoc. Lu Ming's spirit-devouring bloodline was originally a small snake less than a meter long. At this moment, it was forcefully swollen. Its length had increased by several times, and its thickness had increased by 10 times. The energy was too terrifying. Even if it was only a drop of essence blood, its energy was equivalent to the essence blood of more than 7,000 second-layer martial grandmasters. Refine, refine. Lu Ming roared. He controlled his bloodline with all his strength and crazily refined it. Hoo-hoo, streams of pure energy flowed into Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming continuously circulated the true dragon battle art, absorbing this energy and transforming it into true qi. Lu Ming's cultivation rapidly increased. However, Lu Ming controlled his bloodline. Most of the energy essence was absorbed by his bloodline and used to upgrade his bloodline. Otherwise, the energy would be too huge. Lu Ming would not be able to absorb it all. About 20% of the energy was transformed into true qi. The other 80% was used to upgrade his bloodline. Lu Ming's cultivation rapidly approached the third-layer martial grandmaster realm. Boom! Half an hour later, Lu Ming's body shook. He had broken through to the third-layer martial grandmaster realm. After breaking through to the third-layer martial grandmaster realm, Lu Ming's refining speed increased greatly. The energy was continuously transformed into true qi. Early third-layer martial grandmaster realm, mid-third-layer martial grandmaster realm. When he reached the mid-third-layer martial grandmaster realm, the spirit-devouring bloodline let out a roar, following which, the 6th blood-red chakra flashed. The bloodline had upgraded to the 6th grade. With the 6th grade bloodline, the devouring power increased greatly. The refining speed of the blood essence also increased greatly. The body of the spirit-devouring bloodline slowly shrunk. 18 hours later, Ning Kong's drop of blood essence was completely refined. Lu Ming's cultivation had reached the peak of the third-layer martial grandmaster realm. He was only a step away from the fourth-layer martial grandmaster realm. Of course, this was because most of the essence was used to upgrade his bloodline. This also caused Lu Ming's bloodline to reach the peak of the 6th grade. His 6 chakras were bright and full. It was as if a new chakra could be born at any time. One must know that the higher the grade of the bloodline, the more terrifying the amount of blood essence needed to upgrade. However, this time, Lu Ming's bloodline had increased by 1 grade. One could imagine how terrifying the blood essence of a 9th-layer martial grandmaster was. Lu Ming opened his eyes and looked at Ning Kong's corpse. He felt that it was a pity. After half a day, the essence of the blood essence in Ning Kong's body had already dissipated. The higher the cultivation of a cultivator, the slower the dissipation of the blood essence after death. However, for a 9th-layer martial grandmaster expert, it would take at most 3 hours for the essence of the blood essence to dissipate. True qi burst out and Ning Kong's corpse fell down. With one less person, the speed of the eagle increased greatly. It quickly chased forward. A few hours later, a black dot could be seen in the distance. It was Lu Yunxiong and the others. It's Lu Ming. Lu Ming has caught up. Obviously, Lu Yunxiong had also discovered Lu Ming. He was so frightened that he cried out, "This little bastard still dares to chase after us. Could it be that the power of his beast spirit hasn't dissipated? How is this possible?" The Duanmu clan's elder's face was gloomy. "Lu Yunxiong, I've said that you will die. You can't escape." Lu Ming shouted. His voice was incomparably cold. "What should we do? Elder Chow, what should we do?" Lu Yunxiong was scared out of his wits as he muttered, "Could it be that the power of this little bastard's beast spirit hasn't dissipated? Or perhaps he still has another beast spirit?" The old man of the Duanmu clan, named Duanmu Chow, was constantly thinking. He looked at Lu Ming with fear in his eyes. "Don't worry, we're almost at the Mystic Essence Sword Sect. As long as we reach the Mystic Essence Sword Sect, that little bastard Lu Ming won't be able to do anything to us. At that time, the ones who will die won't be us, but him," Duanmu Chow said with a gloomy face. It would take 10 days to reach the Mystic Essence Sword Sect from Firestorm City on the Azure-Scaled Horse. However, it would only take 1 day on the Eagle. Chapter 180. Hurry up, hurry up. Duanmu Chao's vital energy surged into the eagle's body. The eagle screeched as if it had been stimulated by something. It sped up and flew forward. The two eagles flew toward the Mystic Essence Sword Sect, one in front and one behind. They were separated by about 10,000 meters. Lu Ming's speed was faster because he had one less person. The distance between them was slowly closing. However, it was impossible for him to catch up in a short time. Very quickly, 3 hours passed in a flash. The distance between them was only about 2,000 meters. However, they were already close to the boundary of the Mystic Essence Sword Sect. Haha, we're almost there. We're finally there. Lu Ming, you still want to kill me? Dream on. Lu Yunxiong laughed maniacally. However, the murderous intent in Lu Ming's eyes did not diminish. It was extremely strong. Whoosh, whoosh. Soon, the mountain gate of the Mystic Essence Sword Sect was in sight. The eagle screeched as it flew past the mountain gate of the Mystic Essence Sword Sect and headed toward the White Tiger Hall. However, Lu Ming did not show any signs of stopping. He continued to chase after it. What's going on? Why isn't Lu Ming stopping? Lu Yunxiong was a little flustered. It's fine. He's just bluffing. When we reach the White Tiger Hall, Lu Ming won't dare to do anything. Duanmu Chao said confidently. The two eagles flew past the mountain gate of the Mystic Essence Sword Sect one after another. Who's that on the eagle? The one in front seems to be the chief elder of the White Tiger Hall. The one in the back looks familiar. Wait, Lu Ming. It's Lu Ming. Lu Ming? What? Lu Ming. It's really Lu Ming. Oh my god. Lu Ming is not dead. It's really him. Lu Ming is not dead. Suddenly, the entire Mystic Essence Sword Sect was in an uproar. The news spread like wildfire. Lu Yunxiong, I don't care where you run to. I'll kill you today. Lu Ming's voice was filled with killing intent as it spread throughout the entire Mystic Essence Sword Sect. Not good. Senior brother Lu Ming wants to kill the people of the White Tiger Hall, and from the looks of it, he wants to kill his way to the White Tiger Hall. No, I must tell Peng Shi, Feng Wu, and the others about this matter, and let them inform Elder Mullins. Down below, a few disciples of the Vermilion Bird Sect were shocked as they ran towards the Vermilion Bird Sect. Whoosh! Up ahead, Lu Yunxiong and Duanmu Chao were riding on the giant eagle as they sped toward the White Tiger Courtyard. 1,000 meters behind, Lu Ming was in hot pursuit. Two large eagles flying above the Mystic Essence Sword Sect without any scruples naturally caused a commotion. Lu Ming didn't die, and he's chasing after the White Tiger Hall's chief elder, saying that he wants to kill Lu Yunxiong. Who is Lu Yunxiong? You're ignorant, aren't you? You should know Duanmu Lin's fiancé, Lu Yao, right? Lu Yunxiong is Lu Yao's father, and I heard that Lu Yao and Lu Ming are from the same clan. I see, but how is it possible that Lu Ming is chasing after the chief elder? I don't know, but something big must be going on. Let's go and take a look. A large group of people gathered below the Mystic Essence Sword Sect and headed toward the White Tiger Hall. A few minutes later, Lu Yunxiong and Duanmu Chao were the first to arrive at the White Tiger Hall. The giant eagle landed on a huge square in the White Tiger Hall. As soon as it landed, the giant eagle started foaming at the mouth and fell to the ground, twitching. Along the way, the giant eagle had been burning its potential and could not hold on any longer. Lu Yunxiong and Duanmu Chao jumped down and stood on the square. Both of them were relieved when they arrived there. Haha, we're finally safe. Lu Yunxiong was ecstatic, but he was still in a state of shock. He was really scared out of his wits by Lu Ming. Don't worry, Lu Ming won't dare to make a move here even if he has 10 guts. I'll report this to the dean, and he'll personally take down Lu Ming. He killed so many people from the Duanmu family, no one can protect him. Duanmu Chao put his hands behind his back and resumed his calm expression. The White Tiger Hall was the headquarters of the Duanmu family. Who would dare to kill someone here? Unless they were tired of living. He was sure that Lu Ming was about to stop. Lu Ming really did stop. He rode the giant eagle and hovered above the square. How dare you, Lu Ming? You killed dozens of people from the Duanmu family, and now you're riding a giant eagle to barge into the White Tiger Hall. You're too audacious and sinful. Now, get down here and beg for mercy. Maybe I'll leave your corpse intact. Duanmu Chao reprimanded with his hands behind his back. Haha, Lu Ming, come on. Didn't you say you wanted to kill me? Come down and kill me if you can. Haha. Lu Yunxiong laughed and looked at Lu Ming with disdain. But in the next moment, the smile on his face froze. Lu Ming's figure moved, and he jumped down from the big eagle. With a loud bang, he landed heavily on the square, crushing the stone slabs on the square and sending gravel flying everywhere. I don't need you to shout. I've said that I'll kill you. It doesn't matter where you hide. Lu Ming walked step by step toward Lu Yunxiong. Lu Ming, what are you doing? How dare you? How dare you? This is the White Tiger Hall. Lu Yunxiong's face changed drastically. He couldn't help but step back as he screamed. However, Lu Ming's eyes were as cold as ice. He only said one word. Kill? How arrogant. Men, Lu Ming has killed dozens of people from the Duanmu family. He's gone mad. Attack together and kill him. Duanmu Chao could no longer stay calm and shouted. There were many people from the White Tiger Hall in the square. At that moment, one of them rushed over. Lu Ming, it's Lu Ming. He's not dead. Who cares if he's dead or not? How dare he kill so many people from the Duanmu family? He's dead for sure now. Attack, kill him. Some of the people who rushed over were silver-rank disciples from the White Tiger Hall. Some were middle-aged men who were no longer disciples. They had cultivated for many years and had high cultivation levels. Most of them were martial grandmasters. The martial masters did not dare to rush over. Boom! Lu Ming held the demon-banishing spear. His aura was wild and his hair fluttered. He shouted coldly, My targets are Lu Yunxiong and Lu Yunxiong. If you don't want to die, scram. How arrogant. Let's see what you've got. You're just the number 1 disciple of the bronze rank. You're nothing in my eyes. Some silver-rank disciples shouted. These people were all 5th-layer martial masters, and there were even 6th-layer martial masters among them. Since that's the case, kill them. Lu Ming's killing intent exploded. The demon-banishing spear shook and a beast soul merged into his body. The second beast soul was at the pinnacle of the martial ancestor realm. In an instant, Lu Ming's aura rose crazily. He was like a demon. Kill. The long spear swept out and a 100-meter-long spear light appeared. It was as thick as a bucket. Bang! Bang! Dozens of disciples of the White Tiger Hall were swept away. More than a dozen of the weaker ones had their bodies blasted apart. In an instant, more than a dozen martial grandmasters were killed. Hiss! Some of the White Tiger Hall disciples who did not rush over gasped. Their eyeballs almost popped out. One spear, just one spear, killed more than a dozen martial grandmasters and severely injured more. It was too powerful. Audacious! Audacious! Lu Ming killed his fellow disciples. He's going to rebel. A disciple from the White Tiger Hall shouted, I've said it's none of your business. If you don't want to die, scram. Chapter 181. You came to our White Tiger Hall and asked us to leave. How is that possible? Attack. We must take down Lu Ming and punish him severely. The disciples of the White Tiger Hall roared. However, no one was able to get close to him. Lu Ming, how dare you be so arrogant? You will die today. A roar could be heard as 3 figures arrived at the scene. Chief Elder, 3 Chief Elders, Lu Ming is dead for sure. A disciple of the Duanmu clan yelled, Kuei-fong, you've come at the right time. Attack with me and take down Lu Ming. Duanmu Chao yelled in joy. I'll kill you first. Lu Ming yelled as he charged toward Duanmu Chao. Lu Yunxiong hid behind Duanmu Chao in fear. He had never expected that Lu Ming would really dare to attack the White Tiger Hall. Moreover, he had killed more than 10 great martial masters from the White Tiger Hall. How could he be so bold? At that moment, even in the White Tiger Hall, he could feel a chill running down his spine. When he saw Lu Ming charging toward him, his face turned pale as he frantically retreated. Bang! The spear in Lu Ming's hand turned into a pillar as it lashed toward Duanmu Chao. Damn it! Since Lu Yunxiang was behind him, he could not retreat. He could only brace himself to receive Lu Ming's attack. When his spear collided with Lu Ming's spear, his body trembled as if he had been electrocuted. He was then knocked back a few steps and spat out a mouthful of blood. Come and help me. Duanmu Chao yelled in astonishment. Kill! Kill! Finally, the 3 chief elders of the White Tiger Hall arrived and unleashed 3 terrifying attacks in Lu Ming's direction. Following this, Duanmu Chao also charged toward Lu Ming. 4 ninth-layer martial grandmasters surrounded Lu Ming. Lu Ming let out a roar as he fought against the 4 ninth-layer martial grandmasters. His aura swept in all directions, causing the entire square to turn chaotic. Lu Ming was fighting 1 against 4 and was not at a disadvantage at all. At that moment, even more people had arrived. Not only were there disciples from the White Tiger Hall, but there were also disciples from other halls. When they saw this scene, everyone's jaws dropped as they stared at the scene in disbelief. Lu Ming was actually able to fight against 4 elders of the 9th level of the Martial Master realm. This was simply unbelievable. The news regarding Lu Ming's visit to the White Tiger sect spread like wildfire to the entire Mystic Essence Sword sect. Vermilion Bird Courtyard, Lu Ming's dormitory. At this time, in the courtyard, Pang Shi, Mulins, and Feng Wu were sitting together. Their faces were heavy, as if they were thinking about something. It's all my fault. I should have followed senior brother Lu Ming and the others when they went after the Dongi tribe. It's all my fault. Pang Shi clenched his fists tightly, the veins on his arms bulging as he said in pain, Big Stone, don't be silly. This has nothing to do with you. With your cultivation, how could you have gone with them? You don't have to blame yourself, Feng Wu said. However, from her pained expression, it could be seen that she felt extremely uncomfortable in her heart. Lu Ming, did he really fall just like that? Feng Wu sighed in his heart. When the plane collapses, even a martial ancestor would not be able to escape death, let alone Lu Ming. Sigh. I don't want to believe it either. Mulin sighed. Her eyes were filled with grief and sorrow. Lu Ming, could it be that you only have this little bit of luck? Are you going to leave just like that? Originally, I thought you would grow into a powerhouse. Also, I still owe you a reward. How can you leave just like that? Mulins thought in her heart. Also, Mulins clenched her teeth as mist filled her eyes. A while ago, the sect had already informed Lu Ming's family. As far as I know, Lu Ming's only close relative is his mother. It can be said that Lu Ming is his mother's only hope and support, Feng Wu said. The moment he said that, the atmosphere became even more solemn. Why don't we go to senior brother Lu Ming's house together and take a look at Lu Ming's mother so that she won't be too sad? Pang Shi suggested. I think so too. We'll stay in the Lu family for a while and accompany Lu Ming's mother. Feng Wu also nodded. Then we'll set off tomorrow morning, Mulin said. At this moment, the door to the courtyard was pushed open heavily. 2 youths ran in while panting heavily. Pang Shi, Elder Mulins, it's great that you're all here. Something big has happened. A skinny young man with a head full of sweat said, Niu Huan, why are the 2 of you in such a hurry? What happened to make the 2 of you so anxious? Feng Wu asked with a frown. These 2 youths were disciples of the same batch as Lu Ming and were very familiar with Pang Shi and the others. Lu Ming, it's Lu Ming. He's back. Niu Huan gasped for breath and shouted. Bang, bang, bang. With that said, Mulins, Feng Wu, and the other 2's auras burst out uncontrollably. At the same time, they jumped up from their seats as if they had been electrocuted. You, what did you say? Senior brother Lu Ming is back? Which Lu Ming? Pang Shi stared with his eyes wide open, almost roaring out. Mulins and the others also stared at Niu Huan with their eyes wide open. Their eyes flickered with an indescribable hope. Of course it's senior brother Lu Ming. Senior brother Lu Ming, who is ranked first on the bronze list. Niu Huan seemed to be infected by their expressions and also roared, Senior brother Lu Ming. Haha, is it really senior brother Lu Ming? Niu Huan, are you sure you didn't see wrongly? Pang Shi laughed out loud and grabbed Niu Huan's shoulder tightly. Of course I didn't see wrongly. Not only did the two of us see it, many other senior and junior brothers also saw it. The other youth also said, Lu Ming, Lu Ming. Mulan's clenched her fists tightly as she muttered under her breath. Her tall and straight twin peaks were constantly moving up and down as her beautiful eyes flickered with extreme surprise. Lu Ming is not dead. This is a joyous occasion. Niu Huan, why are you shouting that something bad is going to happen? Feng Wu took a few deep breaths, calmed himself down and asked, Senior brother Lu Ming. He is charging towards the White Tiger Hall. Niu Huan called out. What? Mulan's and the other two turned pale with fright. What's going on with the White Tiger Hall? Mulan's asked anxiously. I don't know. We only saw senior brother Lu Ming riding on a huge eagle, chasing after Elder Duanmu Chao of the White Tiger Hall, and a person called Lu Yunxiang. I only heard senior brother Lu Ming roar that he must kill Lu Yunxiang, while Duanmu Chao roared that senior brother Lu Ming had killed dozens of experts from the Duanmu family. Later on, senior brother Lu Ming and the others went to the White Tiger Hall, while we rushed back. Niu Huan said, Lu Yunxiang? Not good. Could it be that something happened to the Lu family? Lu Yunxiang knows that Lu Ming has fallen and wants to take action against the Lu family? Mulan's face suddenly changed. Back then, she had stayed in the Wind and Fire City for a long time, so she was very familiar with the Lu family's matters. Not good. Something must have happened to the Lu family. With Lu Ming's personality, he will definitely kill Lu Yunxiang. But if he goes to the White Tiger Hall, Lu Ming will definitely die. I will immediately find grandfather to save him. Mulan's expression was extremely ugly. After saying that, she rushed out and disappeared in a flash. Let's go to the White Tiger Hall. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.